What's up, everybody? It's Rumi Ryan, and I am so excited. I've had other interviews where I was very excited, but I can't deny that I'm really excited about this one too. Quite honestly, probably more excited about this one than a few of the other interviews, just because I know this man in a way that deals directly with writing. So I am trying my best to hold my peace, but when I tell you, you are in store for an amazing ride. I was recording a video before this call and I was talking about how I feel before the call. And I always have a little bit of jitters, but when I thought about who I was going to be interviewing on today, there was a different kind of excitement for conversation, for connection, and just a point for writer to writer, us to like talk and glean from each other. So, wherever you're watching, I'm going to stop ranting and raving and let you guys meet one of the most amazing Black men I've met probably in the last 2 years. Put your hands together wherever you are for Mr. Eli Washington. What's up, Eli?
Hi, Rumi. Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be here connecting with you. Being able to connect with you as a writer and through the Black Author brand has been one of the most influential and beneficial parts of my writer journey. Connecting with you through that and being able to share some of that experience and give back and share with others. Like I'm
Come
here.
on now, come
Anytime
on.
I can connect with you, vibe out with you, I'm here for it. Yeah, let's do it.
All right, we're gonna jump into it. I always like to say I'm gonna start light, but I never start light. So Eli, tell us, why do you write?
Oh, yeah, that's a big question to start out. Yes, why do I write? As early as I can remember, when I was a kid, I always was a little in my head. I was soft spoken, but I found when I put paper to pen, that was the way to get out of my head, to let my imagination run wild, let my creativity run wild. I felt more in tune with myself, with my thoughts, with my emotions. I had a journal or a diary from a very young age, writing down how I'm feeling, my emotions, my dreams, my desires, aspirations. I think where that shifted for me into creative writing, I remember being in the third grade and I had this teacher. Her name was Miss Peterson. Hey, Miss Peterson.
What's up, Miss Peterson?
And she gave me this assignment where she wanted us to write a letter to someone just explaining something to them. I took this assignment and I took it all the way to a whole nother direction. I wrote a letter to my brother. Basically, he was inheriting some toys that I had decided I was too grown up for. And it wasn't just me handing him these toys. I had created a whole world for these toys. And so I was explaining to him, this is the way this world works. This is what you're inheriting. This is how it all goes together. I had written out this whole process, this whole world that I had explained to him. Like, here you go. Now you take it to the next chapter kind of
Right.
thing. And so my teacher, after she gets all the assignments, oftentimes she would read out an assignment, one of her favorite ones of them, anonymously. So she chose mine to read out. And so, like me, I'd already said I'm soft spoken. I'm not one to just share out like that. She read
Right.
my assignment out. So I was like, oh gosh. But then what got me even more after that is one of my good friends in the class was sitting next to me. After they read it out, they lean over and they whispered to me, was that you that wrote that? And I said, yeah, how did you know? And they said, that sounded like you to me. And that to me was a moment where I felt seen in a way to where it's like, you know, I I was not somebody to put myself out there like that necessarily. I was not in front of everybody like that. But to have my words mean something to where somebody that just knew me for me felt it through my words, even in the silly story that was just my imagination and creativity, that meant something to me. And then I also think writing, in addition to getting in touch with myself, when I'm doing it, I feel free in a way that feels spiritual. I'm flying. It feels limitless in terms of what you can do, where you can go, getting in touch with yourself, what you want to see in the world, in terms of reflecting on things in your past, in terms of what you want to say about what's going on. Like all of that is up for, it's all on the table. It's
Yes.
all there.
Yes.
And then lastly, and this has just been on my mind, especially lately, because just celebrating Juneteenth, I've been thinking a lot recently about the ancestors. And I think this is the gift of writing, I think is a gift from my ancestors that I've been blessed with. Tapping into that, channeling that, and realizing that writing, storytelling in the African diaspora is one of the ways that the ancestors preserved culture, family lineage, and all of that. I have been blessed with somebody that has been gifted with the privilege to be a part of that. And so for all of that, you asked a big question, Rumi, so I had to break it down
Right.
for you all them different ways. That's what makes me want to write.
I was sitting here listening to you, trying to fight back the tears, especially about the story from third grade. I don't know what it is, Eli, but whenever a human being becomes recognizable, to me, it's like a mixture of peace and love. It really is a spiritual process to write something and to be recognized. Not recognized like, oh, here's your certificate. There's something written without a name, without an assigned personality. And someone in your circle says, that sounds like you. Oh, that is the best. It is one of the best sensations in the world to be recognized, and it often becomes the portal. No wonder you write with such a phenomenal story like that. I see why there is such a richness in connectivity with you in writing. It feels like a best friend. It feels like somebody you grew up with. It feels like someone you're still discovering. You know what I mean? That is, Eli, you do it for me. All right. What right now is your greatest challenge as a Black author? Not when you first started, not what may be a challenge down the line, but right now, what is your greatest challenge as a Black author?
Yeah, there's two things that are coming to me. The first thing I think about is that while there has been growth in terms of Black authors, Black stories, I think in terms of the literary space in general, there are still gaps in terms of representation, in terms of stories. There is still a lot of stories out there that can be told. And so I think that in part, there's a pressure in me putting together my story that I feel like I'm presenting my point of view, but I also feel the pressure to put as much on my shoulders as I can while still being true to me. And so there's this like pressure of like being true to me, but also wanting to be so as supportive of the overall general community as I can. So it's like a balancing act there. But overall, just like wanting to make come across authentically, making sure that I'm true to the community and myself, figuring out how to hold all of this in terms of how it resonates and how people will see themselves in what I'm talking about. And so that's a lot to hold and balance at times. And the pressure of it, I think, is real just because there needs to be more of us and there needs to be more stories. Sometimes I think I can get in my head about it, the just being me versus the pressure of the overall space and what the space needs as a whole kind of thing.
So I'm gonna just cut straight through. I don't know a way to say this, without just saying it. I vacillate the amount of myself that I am based upon the audience. And that's just a measure of safety. So when you were talking about, like, I feel this pressure from the ancestors from my community to represent us, a lot of Black authors carry that. If you are a writer of color, even if you don't think you carry it, especially if you're in America, Eli, because there's such a tone, such a sound, a color of African Americans in this particular space, in this nation. Sometimes there is this pressure to impress, to defend, to articulate for an entire people when it's just, I'm a little brown girl that's queer. I can't represent the Black race. I'm only a subset. And I want to ask you this. If I'm in the room with, I'll say, a room of color. That means people from all sorts of minorities. I feel the most empowered or safest to be myself, to be the most quirky, nitpicky, like the smallest form of Rumi. If I am at a venue, a show, a banquet where there is a mixed crowd or predominantly white, I feel that pressure. Oh, I feel that pressure to represent, like, I have to do the blackest poem. I have to do the most mainstream, like, political issue. Do you ever feel that vacillation or that pressure?
I think there is that pressure, even in conversations that I've had with different folks about what I'm writing. I feel that oscillation in terms of how I talk about it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
as I talk about it with, just like a white heterosexual person versus how I'm talking about it with a Black queer,
Yes.
like that there's different perspectives and layers as to how I frame what I'm talking about and what I'm working on. There's layers and perspectives for all of those audiences in terms of how they can see, understand, and take in what I'm writing about. But it's all there
It is.
at the same time.
And that is a challenge, particularly as a Black author, because you don't know who's going to read your book at what point in time. A lot of authors ask themselves, well, who am I writing for? Am I writing for the little Black boy? Am I writing for the little Black girl? Am I writing for my ancestors? A lot of times, it's just like you said, Eli, I feel like we're writing for ourselves. And we will learn how to navigate how much of ourselves to be when we need to. But man, that is a challenge. I can't wait for people to see this because I don't think that you are alone. I think a lot of us face that. Any other challenges, or was that the biggest challenge right now?
Yeah, I'd say that's the biggest one. The other one that I was thinking about was, I think it's actually related to where you were taking it in terms of like, just like be like writing feels like a very isolating process in general. So being in the process, you seek out spaces and rooms with others, whether it be other writers, just to build a sense of community, or when you have a finished product or a product that is well in motion. And so you're starting to build relationships with potential publishers and agents. And though both with writers and then with publishers and agents, those spaces are majority of spaces. Those folks don't look like you and me, Rumi. And so there is this kind of situation where at times it can feel like there's a language barrier, or it can feel like, do you really understand where I'm trying to go with how I'm trying to do this? Is this a savior complex relationship? Are you supporting Black writers and namesake only? Do you really get what I'm about? I'm just trying to be real here,
Yes.
In that context can make you feel like your voice isn't truly understood, valued, or you're not connecting with folks that have that same shared experience. You can feel alone, like an exception, like you're on an island trying to navigate it. So it's like, how do I do this? Building your roadmap. That's what makes spaces like the platform you've built here so important, to let folks know that they're not alone. They're just underserved, undersupported, underamplified. But we're here and we're doing it. I think it's important for folks, like in those moments of isolation, because like I think we all at some point feel that way, is that you have those folks that you either have those folks or you find those folks in those moments that you can just hit up and just say, hey, what's up? How are you doing right now? What's the real on your process? Because there are times in this writing journey, it gets messy, it gets hard. There's the days where it's like, damn, I don't want to do this right now. But that's all a part of the process.
Yes.
And beauty comes out of that. And you got your team, you got to build that squad to make it happen, because those other communities, they have it.
So you want to write a book. You've been talking about it, but you just haven't done it yet. Maybe you did start, but somewhere along the way, life got busy. Motivation dipped, and your manuscript is now collecting digital dust. Take a deep breath. You are not alone. I know it feels that way. That's exactly why I created Writers Who Finish. This is a writing program designed for real life authors, people like you, who are juggling life, work, doubt, perfectionism, procrastination, lack of support, and still feel called to write something meaningful. This is for you. Here's what you'll get inside of Writers Who Finish: a supportive writing community that just gets it, feedback from experienced published authors, easy to follow frameworks for structure, pacing, and editing, weekly assignments, and motivation to fuel growth, strategies to help you market and sell your books, check-in calls, and live group sessions to get you unstuck when you hit those rough patches. By the end of this program, you'll have clarity, confidence, and a real finished draft you can be proud of. So if you're tired of going at it alone, you're ready for some guidance and support to finally get that book out of your head and onto the page, I would love to welcome you into Writers Who Finish. Now, applications are open, spots are limited, and we're starting soon. Listen, your words matter. Let's get this done. Yes, it's so strong, you don't even have to have talent to get published. All you gotta do is know the right people. Yes, they have their system in place. And while my hope is that we are building our own system, there are what I would consider gatekeepers who are not people of color into the publishing industry. And passing through that gate, it can wear on you. It can wear on your creativity. It can wear on your consistency. You know what I mean? And it's just hard. So all I can say is, wherever you're watching right now, you heard it from Eli and you're hearing it from me too. You're not alone. I think most of us, like you said, are struggling in silence. Us coming together is not going to eradicate the struggle, but I do think we're going to get through it faster and in like more wholer pieces once we get through it. All right, Eli, tell us about your book.
Yes.
I've been waiting for this question. Can you tell? That's because I already know y'all. I already got a little, you know what I mean? But anyway, talk about your book.
Yeah, so the title of my book is PK Anonymous. PK stands for Preacher's Kid. It's a Black queer coming of age novel about a young man. His name is Isaiah, and he's in his 30s. He's a former preacher's kid, and he returns home to his southern hometown after some years away. He's forced to confront a lot that he's left behind. So what starts as a quick holiday trip to share his engagement with his family and childhood friends turns into an extended stay when tragedy hits his close group of childhood friends. So through Isaiah's journey, the story explores faith, identity, hypocrisy, and the complicated beauty of chosen and biological family, community, and individual understandings of faith. And the core question that this book is addressing is, what do you carry forward in the communities that raised you? What do you leave behind? And how do you make peace?
Y'all see what I'm saying? This man, Eli Washington, I'm telling you, we are going to come back to this interview one day soon. I'm talking about millions of people. I've already given you reviews. We know you're a dope writer. But what you were just talking about in terms of vacillating between these audiences and the challenges as a Black writer, and how there are these small niches of our categorized Black experience. We have so much color as a people. I'm talking about a whole spectrum, Eli. And there are pieces of that rainbow that we don't get to see. Faith, sexuality, grief, trauma, religion. Most of the people of color that I meet, they're a mixed bag, Eli. I have never met a flat, like, I'm a Democrat, you know, I'm Church of God in Christ. It's always like, I'm Church of God in Christ. I eat pork on the weekends. My cousin is a Muslim. I also do yoga. Like, we've always been a mixed bag. And one of the things, because a lot of times when I do these interviews, I feel like interviewers are supposed to brag about their guests. I'm just being honest here. I just keep it real. If I didn't want to brag on you, I wouldn't. But what I need people to understand is the amount of intricacy and honesty riddled throughout the synopsis of your book. When I say honesty, I mean it is an accurate depiction of what is in our communities. It is a mixed bag, and it is a joy to see stories like yours. I've been excited about your book. I cannot wait until it comes out. Do you think there's anything in your book that is going to shock people?
Yeah.
Eli, you so quick. I'm kind of scared about it now. Really?
I think people are going to go in with preconceived notions. This is an attack on the Black church, or this is just Black gay trauma. Maybe those are perceptions, but my goal through it is to muddy and complicate because I want it to be true to life. I'm going to tie up loose ends, but I want to leave it in a way where readers can take in the same way that Isaiah is taking what he wants from it, leaving what he doesn't, and making peace. They can as well. So it's an interesting thing where things will build up and then they'll resolve. It's going to heighten things up in a way where it can feel like that for some parts of it. I'm interested to see how folks feel and respond to some of those things.
Well, listen, I will say this, that charisma that writers have to titillate readers and make them want to read their book, got it, man. When I tell you, I want to read this book so bad. And you do a good job of alluding to some things, but also leaving it open. So I think that's always a joy when a book surprises you, when a story surprises you. And that is, like you said, an accurate depiction of life. We can't predict half of the stuff that goes on. And I think we miss some of that joy in just letting life do what it's going to do. So I am excited about PK Anonymous, and I can't wait until it comes out. I have another question. I want to know about your experience with Writers Who Finish. For those of you who don't know, Eli was a part of our first cohort of Writers Who Finish. It's an 8-week accountability program we do with authors to help them finish their books. Most of the authors I come in contact with always have a manuscript sitting there, but getting over that hump to finish is a task. I'm going to call Eli Legacy. He was one of the legacy members of Writers Who Finish, even though we have participants in there now. I want to know, brass tacks, how was your experience in Writers Who Finish?
Yes. And before I start, once I get book one done, I'm coming back for book two. Just know that.
Okay. Hey, oh, we love that. I can't wait.
Yes. Well, my experience with Writers Who Finish, I already shared earlier, like the Black author brain is a big part of what has motivated and influenced me to get this far, where I'm almost done with the first draft of this manuscript. My experience with it really empowered me in a way to where I truly believed in my voice in a way that I didn't before starting the program. Before I joined the program, I like the way the program is set up. If you're working on a novel, it's a chapter a week. If you're working on a poem, it's a set of poems a week. I've submitted a chapter at the beginning of the week, a draft, and I would submit the more finalized version of the chapter at the end of that week. Before I started the program, I would have a chapter that I would fiddle around with and edit word choice. Oh, I don't like that word. Oh, I gotta move this paragraph over here. Oh, I don't like that character's name. This is gonna be purple, not blue. Like all that kind of stuff until the cows come home. And then some time later, I would eventually get to the next chapter. But what I realized through this program, I was slowing my overall process and progress. There was so much that was stalled, that was not flowing, that was not growing, that was not building because I was not allowing it to, because I was so doubtful of my voice. I wasn't allowing it to come out. I think the experience of that was wonderful. Having that structure of one a week, you know what you got to do. This is what you're focused on, not being able to play around with it too much. That was great. The accountability and community, having folks, other writers that are part of the program that you get to see that are also going through it with you. You know, we all are dealing with writing and then also life too, because life sometimes is lifing. You know, we're all going through things. And so it was just nice to be a part of a community that's like, life is life in, but we still writing, you know?
I love that. Life is life, but we still writing. I'm telling you, Eli, it might be a t-shirt. Life is life.
You got it.
Oh, man. I,
Yes. And also the coaching. I work with an amazing coach through the program. And that coach really, like, having that coach look through all of my work every week and give me incredibly insightful, sensitive, detailed videos that made me feel so seen, so heard, so understood, and like such thoughtful feedback to where not just glowing, like room for growth as well. Of like, this part didn't make sense, or this part could be better, or this part, like all of that, and the progress of taking that from week to week, I felt myself getting stronger. I felt myself being less in my head. Like, so yes, this, anybody that's on the fence, anybody that has a little bit figured out and is ready, I can't recommend this enough.
So when I tell you that is like my heart's desire for Black writers to feel supported and to actually finish the work. That really warms my heart. Big shout out to Dr. Jones, Dr. Kenny Jones, phenomenal expert author that works with us on Writers Who Finish. So Dr. Jones, thank you so much for your support. You heard it from Eli's mouth himself. Like that really helped. And that's why the program is slated that way. As a writer, it's cool to get coached. I mean, it's cool to get like tips and strategies, but you really need eyes on your work to sharpen and refine it. We got to get the people the real deal. So I know that you love the program. We love that. But is there anything about the program that really challenged you? Or maybe that you didn't like? I'm a straight shooter. Let's take the good with the bad.
Yeah, the hardest part for me, one of the parts of the program is, there are videos that you record each week based off of prompts, just like various questions about your writing process and what you're working on, what's it about. At first, I've already mentioned that I'm more introverted, soft-spoken. Those videos were hard for me at first because it would be very scripted. But the more that I did it, the more comfortable I got with it. This is part of the secret sauce of the program, because doing it, this is a part of it as well. The Writers Who Finish and the Black Author brand, it's not just about writing is a big part of the process, but it's also about, once you are ready to publish, how are you going to sell? you have to go to somebody and speak about who are you as an author? What themes are you covering? What is your book about? What are the themes that you cover? What genres? You have to be able to do all of that. What is important to you as an author? What is your perspective or voice? Historical context, themes, background, all that kind of stuff. And what is your brand as an author? Through getting more comfortable speaking about myself and what I'm working on, I've started to build that to where I'm more comfortable to be on this Zoom with Rumi.
Oh, I see you, Eli. I'm checking you out. You got it.
Yeah, but that was hard at first. But I think it's a good practice to do that now before your book drops and you're in the big leagues.
Yes, absolutely. A lot of our participants have that same challenge. They're like, Ruby, why do we have to do these videos? But I call it medicine because it really does part of being an author. You have to be able to talk. Even if you're shy, even if you're camera shy, you have to be able to articulate your thoughts. People are going to ask questions, particularly in rooms that are not predominantly of color. They're definitely going to ask questions. And you're going to have to be able to not only articulate your thoughts, but when you articulate well, you're going to feel like kudos, pat on the back for me, but also pat on the back for my people. Now, in the reverse, a lot of times, even as a Black author, well, because I grew up in church, talking to people isn't like my thing. So I don't use me as a metric. I've been trained since I was yay high, but I have worked with other Black authors who were not confident just talking about themselves. And what happens is they enter these rooms, spaces that are not of color or spaces of color, and they fumble. And when they fumble, they don't just have the weight of like, damn, I messed up. It's like, I messed up for my people. And that's a different kind of weight. And so for me, making sure that we are confident in speaking well and speaking just accurately what we feel, it's not so much of just like, oh, rah, rah, Black power. I'm definitely all for people of color being exposed to the world, but it's also about the writer. There's a human behind those words, behind every book that we read. And that human has feelings and confidence. As we get stronger as people, I feel like we're going to bust the opportunity doors even wider open. So, yeah, I get that that's a challenge, but Eli, them videos ain't going nowhere. I'm going to tell you right now, your videos going to stay in the program. All right, listen.
I'm gonna get ready. I'll get ready for when I read book. I'll get ready for when I read sign up.
Yes, because at this point, we're in series 3. Perry's in series 3. And she has the questions, they just keep getting more and more. They're really, really good. I can't wait for you to jump back. It's going to be so good. Do you have one piece of advice for Black creatives? It can be from anything. Just one piece of advice for somebody who may be watching, writing a book, who just may be a Black creative, something on your heart that you might want to share with them.
Yes. Your voice is enough because you are here. I think that so many times folks wait to say, oh, I'll be ready when I go through this program, or when I have this idea, or when I go through this class, or when I reach this age, or I save up this amount of money, or, whatever it is that they feel like they need to reach or hit. But you are enough. Your voice is enough. You have the ideas. This story that I'm working on right now, Rumi, I had this idea for at least 2 years before I started writing a single word. And I let self-doubt, I let my inner saboteur, I let worry of like, well, what if people don't think this is worthwhile? Or what if people think this is stupid? All those inner bad, negative self-thoughts and doubts hold me back. And the second that I started putting things down and connecting with folks, I saw that it was worthwhile. I didn't need anybody else to do it because it was enough just for me to start writing. The first chapter flew out so fast. So I just want people to know that your voice is enough because you are here. You are here. You have had experiences. You have lived life. You are here for a reason. So take all of that and bring to it what you will. If you have a will, if you have a desire, if you have a story that you want to tell, make it happen. And you're enough because you're here. That's something that has sat with me.
Yes, that's encouraging for me because we always feel like we have to do something, Eli. Like our value is connected to, or like you said, perfectionism. So I am encouraged by that. You are seen. We're here. You're here. That's enough. You don't need anything else. That is phenomenal. See what I said? Didn't I tell you? At the beginning of this interview that y'all were going to be in for it. Eli, such a joy. All right. I have one more question, and it's the question that I get most excited about. But what are you working on now?
Yeah, so I've got maybe 2 or 3 more chapters of PK Anonymous to finish. I really need to put myself on a timeline to get these chapters together
Oh, you
because I did commit myself to finishing this year. So my goal is to finish it this year. And then I already have the idea for my second novel. Ideas percolating, outline in the works. And for that one, we are thinking a psychological thriller. Just to give you a preview, it's like Severance meets The Other Black Girl. That's the kind of world we're working in.
I can't with you, Eli. What the world? Good. I am so excited. Like you're in a flow. That's what happens. Once something unlocks, you're in a flow, and all of these stories come up. I believe that they're your stories. I believe that they're stories from your ancestors. And I'm so excited for the people that are going to read your work for years. You know what I mean? So that's dope. Whenever I talk to authors who are near the end of a manuscript, I always like to give lots of encouragement. So Eli, hang in there. You're gonna get it done. We are rooting for you. And before we go, I'm definitely gonna have you give your socials to everybody because I don't just want you to feel encouragement from me, but encouragement from everybody because we are waiting on this book and we're waiting on the next one since you didn't already drop that little juicy nugget on us. We're waiting on both of them. So where can people connect with you? Do you have a website, socials? Give us all your stuff.
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram and I started doing videos with the help of the Black Author brand, but I need to revamp it. That is in the works as well. If you follow me now, I think that things will be more in motion. My Instagram is at Words of Eli, like Book of Eli, Words of Eli.
One of my favorite movies. Eli, it has been such a pleasure. It is such a joy to know you. It's always good talking to you. I'm gonna be honest with you. I feel like we're gonna have more conversations because there's such a perspective. I would love to pick your brain on other forms of writing and just what you feel as a Black man in the writing world and what you see. We can tell with your writing how vast and creative it is. And I find that brains like that are always great to converse with. So this ain't gonna be your last time interview. I promise you that. But it has been such a pleasure and a joy to speak with you. I feel like I know you a little better. I feel like I've learned so much and I'm still excited, if not more excited, for the things that you will create. I want to thank you for your time. I told y'all this was going to be an amazing interview wherever you are. If you want to support, connect, we're going to put Eli's information here and be on the lookout for the book. Whenever the book does come out, we'll be sure to drop the link here so you can cop PK Anonymous. All right, y'all. Thanks for tuning in.